I know you've seen it everywhere. When it's time to check out, you see that pay in 4 installments, 0 interest, 0 fees, and it sounds very perfect. Just one click and it feels like you have hacked the system. It feels like free money, but is it really free money? Because behind that pay later button that you see is a business model that's quietly built on debt, desperation, and regret. And most people don't even realize it until it's too late. In fact, according to Citizens Advice, 1 in 12 people in the UK now use buy now, pay later for basic essentials. And I mean food, toiletries, everyday survival. And it's not any better when you go across the pond, because in the US, according to reports from LendingTree, 25% of buy now, pay later users are financing groceries. That's sinking. This isn't spending to treat yourself. Even though that's bad, this is to survive. The level of seriousness governments around the world apply to COVID is the same level that should be applied to buy now, pay later. Today, I'm going to show you the real catch with buy now, pay later. If you're using it, if you're thinking of using it, or if you know someone who is already using it, then this video is for you. Share with that person. We'll be exposing the truth behind buy now, pay later promises so that you will understand how a billion-dollar or pounds industry has quietly turned our need to get by into their most profitable products. But first, let's talk about how they actually hook you. The first thing you notice is that buy now, pay later companies present themselves as a friendly alternative to credit cards. You see phrases like no interest, no hidden fees, budget-friendly payments. And on the surface, it seems like genius. It sounds like a win-win. So instead of paying £200 upfront, you pay £50 every month, right? And the total cost is the same. There is no interest to pay. What's not to love about this? Well, that is the first trick. It's actually called payment decoupling. You can also call it spending painkiller. Think about the normal painkiller you take every day. What does it do? Because that's what buy now, pay later does. It makes spending less painful. When a £200 purchase gets split into 4 £50 purchase, your brain doesn't see it as £200 anymore. Instead, it sees it as a series of small payments, small decisions, small yeses, and that is psychological finance being used against you. There are numerous studies, but one that stands out is the Harvard study that shows that people that use buy now, pay later spend 10% more than they would if they had paid maybe using a debit card or a credit card. And the question is, why is that? It's simply because £50, like our example, feels doable, while £200 might feel scary, even though it's the same expense. Also, companies using buy now, pay later service also have an incentive because they see 20 to 50% increase in purchases on their sites. Not because their products got any better, right? Not because customers actually got richer, but because the psychological barrier to spending have suddenly disappeared. Buy now, pay later companies know the science. They have designed every button, every phrase, every payment, every plan just right to make you spend more without feeling it. They don't just make things affordable. They make your financial responsibility feel optional. You're not planning your money. You're actually deferring it. You're outsourcing the consequence to the future. And the future you might not be ready for that consequence, especially when it's not just one payment we're talking about. Instead, it's maybe 5 different installments from 3 different apps, all hitting on the same week, and you're going bonkers. According to Citizens Advice, 65% of buy now, pay later users in the UK have a mismatch between income and outgoing. And this is compared to just 33% of the general population. And these are not wealthy people. These are people who can't get a traditional credit card. These are people that are living paycheck to paycheck. These are people that literally cannot afford what they are buying. And they are expanding everywhere. Imagine DoorDash, Uber Eats now partners with Klarna so that you can finance your takeout. Walmart is accepting buy now, pay later to pay for groceries. The worst part is even the 0 fees that is used to entice is not entirely true. Yes, they might not charge interest upfront, but they charge late fees. For example, Klarna's late fee will be charged at £5 or at 25% of your total order if your order is below £20, while Clearpay charges about £6 for late fees. And when you analyze these fees, they can reach 49% APR. That's higher than most credit cards. And here is where it gets really expensive. When you miss one buy now pay later payment, watch what happens. First, you get hit with the late fees. Then the bank might charge an overdraft fee when the buy now pay later company tries to collect their money. Then you might use a credit card to make the payment and adding to credit card interest. And then you're behind on bills, and it's just a whole vicious cycle. The truth is, they are not replacing debt. They are actually adding to debt. And here's another: 63% of buy now pay later users have multiple loans at the same time. In fact, an average of 9.5 loans at a time. Trying to keep payment on all these loans is a nightmare. 4 Klarna, 3 Afterpay, 2 Affirm, all with different due dates, all automatically withdrawing from your account. And if you miss just one payment on any of them, the fees will start cascading and you're in trouble. But here is where it gets really bad. Buy now pay later companies don't report these loans to credit agencies. That means that traditional lenders have no idea how much buy now pay you have. You could owe 4,000 to Klarna and you could still apply for a car loan, apply for a mortgage, and they won't know any better. In fact, the banks might never even see it. And this is downright risky. This is actually a time bomb that is waiting to explode. In fact, many financial experts call this phantom debt because they are invisible, they are dangerous, and it's growing massively. And those are just the beginning. What about what buy now pay later are doing to people's psychology and behavior? These companies didn't accidentally create an addictive product, right? They studied casino psychology and social media engagement tactics. They use bright colors, instant approval, and they have mastered psychology of impulse buying. The approval process, for example, takes 30 seconds or less. There is no hard credit check, just congratulations, you're approved for your buy now pay later loan. The buy now pay later system is designed to bypass your rational decision making. They have also weaponized social proofs. They use the influencers to say something like, Sarah just bought this with Klarna, split your payment like 2.3 million orders, right? They make debt feel social, trendy, normal. Good news is, finally, governments are actually catching on. For example, the UK government called buy now pay later unregulated Wild West. And they're actually implementing comprehensive regulations that would kick off, I think, in 2026. The US is also forcing buy now pay later companies to provide the same protection as credit cards. Australia is implementing mandatory credit licensing. So different governments are coming up with different ideas to curb this problem. But experts have warned that the worst is actually yet to come, because when buy now pay later data starts hitting credit scores, people will see their creditworthiness destroyed overnight. Remember the phantom debt problem that we spoke about, right? That could actually trigger a wider financial problem when all of this buy now pay later comes to the light. But behind every statistics is actually a human story. And there was one that I saw that made me go into this rabbit hole to start looking into buy now pay later and the effects and all of that. And that is about the story of Audrey, British pensioner who chose buy now pay later over starvation. After struggling to repay £40 for groceries, buy now pay later companies actually bombarded her with £500 credit. The system is just designed to keep you trapped in endless cycle of debt. And there has been 65% increase in people seeking help from Citizens Advice with buy now debt in the last 12 months alone. So what can you do about it? Let me give you some practical steps to protect you, your family, your loved ones, your friends. Send this video to them. If you're currently using buy now pay later, here's what to do right now. First, list every buy now pay later loan that you have. All of them, every company, every payment date. Most people actually lose track, and that's when the fees start ramping up. Secondly, set up a calendar reminder for every payment. Third, check your bank before every automatic withdrawal. One overdraft fee can actually cost more than the buy now later fee, so we want to avoid that. If you want to get out of that debt entirely, because you've made a list now, you know the smallest and the biggest amount. Let's use the debt snowball method to pay off the smallest balances first. This reduces the number of payment dates that you need to track. Don't just close the accounts immediately, because some companies would actually report closures negatively. Instead, just stop using them. Sign off of every email marketing you get from them. Let the account be open. Don't close them, but don't use them either. And in order to move forward, instead of buy now, pay later, consider other options. For example, if you have a large purchase, why not save up first using a sinking fund? Put aside some money and you use that to pay off the expense instead of going into debt. Also, build up your emergency fund, because a lot of times an emergency fund can also help out in situations like this. If you can't afford to pay the full price today, you really can't afford it on buy now, pay later either. You need to always remember that. If you can't pay in full cash at the point of buying whatever it is you want to buy, you can't afford it using buy now, pay later. I can't stress this enough. Remember, buy now, pay later doesn't make things affordable. It just makes them feel affordable. There's a difference. If someone you care about is using buy now, pay later for essentials like groceries, don't shame them. They are already embarrassed. Help them find local resources that can help them. Show them this video, so send them a link so they understand that they are not alone. And sometimes just knowing that they are alternative can actually break that cycle. And on a societal level, we need to demand better regulation as quick as possible. So contact your MP about buy now, pay later. There are also organizations that are fighting these things. Support them. And also share information like this video so people understand the risks. The more people understand how these systems work, the less power they have over us. Buy now, pay later companies want you to believe that they are helping you, but the evidence shows a completely different story. But here's the thing. You have more power than what they want you to believe. Every time you choose to save instead of spend, you're breaking their model. Every time you pay cash instead of installments, you're protecting your future self. Every time you like and share information like this, you're helping someone else escape their trap. If this video have opened your eyes to something you didn't know about buy now, pay later, or has helped you in any way, please do me a favor, share it with someone you love. Like, subscribe to this channel. We are all about making sure you're better with your finances, right? And we can't wait to see you in the comment section. See you in the next one, and have a wonderful